Hello, my dear friends. Today I'm talking about decans of Aquarius. There are 3 decans. First decan is ruled by Venus, the second is ruled by Mercury, and the third is ruled by Moon. So let's start with the Venus decan. This Aquarius blends innovation with aesthetic and social harmony. Venus softens the air sign detachment, creating a person who values beauty, connection, and cooperation in ideas. So, this person can be charming, diplomatic, and socially conscious, values harmony in group or community projects, creative and artistic in thoughts and or environment, seeks balance while innovating. The person needs to learn to bring beauty and connection into visionary pursuits and to not compromise originally for approval or advantages. So, first decan ruled by Venus, giving the water barrier a softer, more relational, more artistic, and surprisingly charming. This is the most socially magnetic of all Aquarius placements, blending Venus harmony and pleasure with Aquarius intellect, originality, and futuristic vision. Planets here want to connect, collaborate beautifully, and innovate through relationships, ideas, and communities. Let's see how planets are working in the first decan of Aquarius, ruled by Venus, between 0 and 10 degrees. Sun in Aquarius expresses identity through community, collaboration, and intellectual contribution. These natives shine when surrounded by like-minded people, creative groups, or innovative environments. Venus softens Aquarius' usually emotional detachment, adding warmth, charm, and a natural ability to attract allies. Identity is tied to being unique but likable, different but accepted, intellectual but open-hearted. The person thrives by uplifting others, championing fairness, and using creativity to express individuality. Leadership is democratic, inclusive, and people-centered. Moon in Aquarius. Here seeks emotional security through friendship, shares ideas, and harmonious group energy. Feelings flow best in relationships that allow independence yet offer stable affection. Venus makes this moon more tender, approachable, and expressive, softening Aquarius' cool interior. This person needs emotional resonance, shared creativity, and mental stimulation. They feel safe when surrounded by people who understand their unconventional nature and appreciate their softer side. Mercury in Aquarius blends intellect with charm. Thoughts are innovative but diplomatic, clever but gentle. Communication is artistic, imaginative, socially conscious, and deeply persuasive. Venus gives the voice melody, making these natives excellent writers, strategists, designers, community organizers, negotiators, or humanitarian thinkers. They excel at bringing people together through ideas and conversation. Venus in Aquarius is at full power in her own decan. Love becomes intellectual, progressive, experimental, and relationship-oriented. These natives crave partners who allow freedom but offer loyalty. Attraction comes through intelligence, uniqueness, kindness, and emotional openness. Social life thrives. People enjoy the natives' pleasant charm and futuristic aesthetic. Love is idealistic, egalitarian, friendly, and beautifully unconventional. Mars in Aquarius acts with diplomacy, strategy, and social awareness. Action is directed toward collaboration, innovation, and community. Venus smooths Mars' edges, reducing impulsiveness and elevating charm. Conflict is approached with logic and fairness rather than aggression. This Mars fights for groups, ideals, and equality. Jupiter in Aquarius expands social cycles, creativity, and humanitarian vision. Opportunities emerge through networks, communities, friendships, innovation, tech, art, or activism. Venus adds grace, diplomacy, and harmony, making this a placement of great popularity and social blessing. The person uplifts others and attracts abundance through collaboration and goodwill. Saturn in Aquarius is strong because it's ruling Saturn, the zodiac sign, Aquarius. But Venus softens the sovereignty. Responsibility expresses through teamwork, social structures, and community leadership. These natives create stable networks, long-term friendships, and carefully built alliances. They can become organizers, system architects, or community elders. Their autonomy is approachable and fair. You need to understand that I'm using the traditional rulership of the zodiac signs. Uranus in Aquarius. This is a great signature of visionary creatives. Uranus expresses originality through artistic innovation, collaborative projects, and social reform. Venus enhances aesthetic brilliance, making these natives gifted at creating beautiful yet unconventional concepts. They reshape culture with elegance and imagination. Neptune in Aquarius blends idealism with social grace. The person may be drawn to spiritual communities, artistic collectives, or humanitarian dreams. Creativity is ethereal, futuristic, and emotionally uplifting. Venus grounds Neptune just enough to make visions manifest. Pluto in Aquarius expresses transformative power through relationships, social systems, and group dynamics. The person influences others quietly yet intensely, often becoming a catalyst for social evolution. Venus softens their edge, making transformation relational and diplomatic rather than forceful. North Node in Aquarius, it's about soul growth that moves toward collaboration, community, friendship, and building meaningful social or creative networks. The person must learn to work with others, not apart from them. South Node in Aquarius. Past life tendencies include withdrawal, emotional detachment, or intellectual independence. Now they must step into relational openness and harmonious group involvement. Rising sign or ascendant in Aquarius. The native appears friendly, elegant, socially aware, and intellectually bright. Others notice their charm and their subtle, refined individuality. They carry a gentle yet futuristic vibe. Descendant in Aquarius, it's about relationship that is requiring kindness, intelligence, emotional openness, and shared ideas. The partner must balance freedom with loyalty and appreciate the native's uniqueness. Midheaven in Aquarius, it's about career that is flourishing in communities, social innovation, tech, collaboration, art, design, diplomacy, or activism. The public sees them as graceful leaders of change. Imum Coeli in Aquarius, inner life revolves around peace, harmony, creativity, and intellectual freedom. Family themes include friendships like bonds and non-traditional structures. Part of fortune in Aquarius, abundance comes through social harmony, alliances, artistic talent, collaboration, and innovation. Blessings increase when they connect with others. The second decan of Aquarius is ruled by Mercury. Mercury sharpens Aquarius' mind into brilliant, inventive, and analytical thought. This Aquarius excels at ideas, communication, and technical or conceptual innovation. They are highly intelligent and inventive, quick thinker, problem solver, and communicator. Fascinating by new technologies and progressive ideas. Analytical and strategic in planning. They need to learn to express revolutionary ideas, clear and practical. not becoming overly detached or scattered in thinking. This second decan, ruled by Mercury, giving this part of the sign an intellectual sharpness, analytical brilliance, and a highly inventive mind. This is the strategist and the system thinker, decan. Curious, perceptive, future-oriented, and skilled in the architecture of ideas. Planets here take Aquarius' cool logic and intensify it with Mercury's adaptability, linguistic precision, and mental speed. Let's see how the planets are working in this decan, ruled by Mercury. The Sun expresses identity through intellect, innovation, and mental mastery. These natives shine when they can analyze systems, decode patterns, solve problems, or pioneer new concepts. Mercury makes the ego flexible, curious, witty, and uniquely inventive. The sense of self is tied to knowledge, originality, and standing out through ideas rather than appearance. Leadership happens through information, teaching, strategizing, writing, designing, engineering, or building structures that future generations can use. This decan often produces polymaths, logical visionaries, and brilliant social analysts. And the challenge is that to avoid emotional detachment or overthinking their own identity. Moon in Aquarius here processes emotion through logic, analysis, and mental clarity. These people need intellectual companionship to feel emotionally understood. Feelings are sorted like data, categorized, examined, and rationalized. Mercury adds restlessness, curiosity, and unpredictability to the emotional landscape. This moon needs freedom to think, alone time for mental decompression, and friends who stimulate the mind in a creative way. Emotional safety comes through shared ideas, intelligent partners, and people who respect their independent inner world. Mercury in Aquarius is exceptionally strong here, quick, perceptive, futuristic, and analytically fierce. The mind is one step ahead of others, skilled in abstraction, innovation, and conceptual architecture. Communication is crisp, direct, intelligent, and often unconventional. These natives excel in sciences, technology, mathematics, linguistics, social theory, writing, programming, and all work involving pattern recognition. They are brilliant conversationalists who bring fresh perspectives into every room. Venus in Aquarius expresses love through mind-to-mind attraction. These people want partners who are clever, communicative, curious, and mentally stimulating. Relationships thrive meaningful dialogue, shared ideas, and intellectual collaboration. Mercury makes Venus more experiential, boundary-breaking, and open to unconventional or non-traditional partnerships. Love is rational yet playful, thoughtful yet innovative. These people are charming in a cerebral, slightly quirky way that others find irresistibly intriguing. Mars in Aquarius acts strategically rather than impulsively. Actions are calculated, precise, and mentally driven. These people are tacticians. They fight with words, ideas, logic, and ingenious solutions rather than brute force. Mercury sharpens their competitive instincts, making them fast, agile, and intellectually aggressive when necessary. There is courage in speaking uncomfortable truth that challenging outdated systems. Jupiter in Aquarius expands the mind, amplifying curiosity, intellectual generosity, and vision. Wisdom emerges through experimentation, objective thinking, and engagement with diverse ideas. Opportunities come through networks, technology, scientific work, education, writing, or international connections. Mercury adds flexibility and adaptability, a perfect mix for innovators, data interpreters, or thought leaders. Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn is dignified in Aquarius, and Mercury brings precision, responsibility, and discipline expressed through intellectual mastery, organization, and structural analysis. These people build systems that stand the test of time. Their minds are serious, thoughtful, and refined by experience. They develop authority through expertise, not force. This is the engineer, architect, analyst, or strategist who becomes a pillar of their community. Uranus in Aquarius becomes exceptionally inventive here. Ideas arrived like lightning, revolutionary, brilliant, and often decades ahead. Mercury enhances originality and technological genius. These natives challenge intellectual norms and disrupt old systems with innovative solutions. Their thinking is electric, associative, non-linear, and fiercely independent. Neptune in Aquarius dissolves boundaries between intuition and intellect. The mind becomes visionary, imaginative, idealistic, and spiritually curious. Mercury helps articulate mystical insights in creative or analytical ways. This placement often appears in artists, dreamers, futurists, and compassionate thinkers drawn to collective healing. Pluto in Aquarius gives the mind an extraordinary level of depth, power, and psychological insight. These people influence others through ideas that transform collective understanding. Mercury adds strategy, making them persuasive, subtle, and intellectually dominant. They often become researchers, reformers. North Node in Aquarius demands developing intellect, communication skills, and the courage to express unconventional ideas. The path leads toward invention, objectivity, and participation in collective intellectual evolution. South Node in Aquarius involve emotional detachment, excessive mental isolation, or reliance on intellect alone. Now the soul must integrate mental brilliance with human connection. Ascendant in Aquarius appears witty, celebratory, futuristic, and slightly eccentric in a charming way. They naturally attract curious, intelligent people and are known for their sharp observations and unique voice. Descendant in Aquarius, partnerships revolve around intellectual chemistry, freedom of thought, and shared visions. The partner must be clever, open-minded, and mentally stimulating. Midheaven in Aquarius, careers excels in fields requiring analytical skills: tech, science, data, design, engineering, writing, research, or innovation. Public image, it's of an intelligent reformer. Imum in Aquarius, inner life is mentally active, curious, and often filled with books, ideas, and intellectual projects. Childhood may involve frequent movement, learning, or unconventional family dynamics. Part of fortune in Aquarius arises through knowledge, communication, innovation, and networking. Success comes when they trust their brilliant mind and share it with the world. The third decan is ruled by Moon, between 20 degrees and 30 degrees. The Moon adds emotional depth and empathy. These Aquarians combine intellect with humanitarian sensitivity, caring deeply about social justice and the collective well-being. So they are empathetic and emotionally aware, nurtures and protect communities, intuitive understanding of social needs, balances innovation with compassion. Learning to act for the greater good without losing emotional clarity. They need to not become emotionally overwhelmed by social suffering because of the society, and environment. Let's see how the planets are working in the third decan ruled by Moon. Moon in Aquarius brings empathy, emotionally intuition, and social sensitive energy. Here, Aquarius combine innovation and independence with emotional and humanitarian concerns. Native of this decan is visionary, who feel the pulse of society and instinctively and understand the emotional currents of group and communities. Sun in Aquarius expresses identity through emotional intelligence, social sensitivity, and intuitive leadership. These people shine when they align personal purpose with the needs of the collective. Leadership is subtle, inspiring, and emotionally aware, often expressed in group projects, humanitarian efforts, or innovative social solutions. The Moon adds a layer of empathy and emotional insight to the Sun's individuality, making them both visionary and nurturing. Moon in Aquarius thrive here, expressing emotional adaptability, social intuition, and deep concern for others. Feelings are tied to group dynamics, friendship, and progress. These people are highly responsive to the emotions of those around them, making them natural counselors, peacemakers, or innovators who care about human welfare. Emotional growth comes from balancing personal feelings with collective needs. Mercury in Aquarius communicates with insightful intuition, empathetic understanding, and socially conscious ideas. The mind is inventive and capable of grasping complex societal patterns. These people excel in roles involving social reform, technology for social good, counseling, or emotional intelligence training. Mercury here conveys ideas with tact, compassion, and foresight. Venus in Aquarius expresses love and societal relationships through empathy, caring, connections, and humanitarian charm. Relationships thrive on emotional understanding, shared ideas, and social contribution. Creativity is emotionally inspired and often involves helping, teaching, or innovating for collective benefit. Love is nurturing, exclusive, and emotionally intelligent. Mars in Aquarius acts with emotional courage, ethical drive, and group-focused initiative. Action is motivated by empathy, fairness, and humanitarian ideals. Conflict is approached with tact and strategic emotional insight. Natives channel energy into causes, teamwork, or social reform rather than personal gain. The Moon tempers impulsiveness, producing thoughtful, compassionate action. Jupiter in Aquarius expands social insight, humanitarian influence, and visionary guidance. Opportunities often arise through empathy, emotional intelligence, and collective projects. Native optimism is emotionally grounded, allowing them to inspire and guide others. Jupiter here favors teaching, mentorship, or leadership role that enhance social welfare. Saturn in Aquarius provides structure, discipline, and emotional responsibility. Lessons involve managing personal emotions while addressing societal or group obligations. Native growth comes through long-term service, careful planning, and responsible innovation. Saturn stabilizes the Moon's sensitivity, enabling consistent contribution. Uranus in Aquarius adds innovative empathy, visionary intuition, and emotionally intelligent originality. Sudden insights often lead to socially transformative ideas. Mars and Moon energies combine to enable action that is both revolutionary and compassionate. Neptune in Aquarius brings visionary creativity, spiritual empathy, and intuitive insight. Dreams and imagination are channeled toward social benefit. Native expression can manifest in art, healing, or humanitarian initiatives that resonate emotionally with others. Pluto in Aquarius provides transformative emotional power, insight, and regenerative social influence. The moon enhances sensitivity, enabling the native to understand and transform collective emotional dynamics. Leadership comes from emotional depth, intuition, and transformative guidance. North Node in Aquarius, growth occurs through empathy-driven innovation, emotionally intelligent leadership, and socially conscious service. South Node in Aquarius, past tendencies toward detachment or emotional aloofness are transformed into deep human understanding and collective care. Ascendant in Aquarius, emotionally perceptive, innovative, socially aware, and visionary. Descendant in Aquarius, partners inspire emotional growth, empathy, and humanitarian purpose. Midheaven in Aquarius, career excels in social innovation, counseling, humanitarian work, or emotionally intelligent leadership. Imon Quail in Aquarius, home nurtures intuition, community connection, and emotional insights. Part of fortune in Aquarius, success comes from harnessing emotional intelligence to inspire, guide, and innovate to the collective good. So look in your natal chart and see where do you have in the chart the Aquarius. Then see what kind of planets do you have there and in which decan they are placed. So I'm waiting your questions and comments down below. Until next time, I wish you all the best. Bye bye.